Hey y'all, right now there is a problem in Nassau County. We do not have enough affordable workforce housing. But luckily I am joined with Carol Bolton. She is the Executive Director for Nassau Habitat for Humanity, and today we're going to discuss how Nassau Habitat for Humanity and Carol Bolton are combating those problems. All right, can you tell me a little bit about Nassau Habitat for Humanity? Did I get that right?
Yes, it is. I know, it's a mouthful.
Well, I want to say Nassau County, but it's not Nassau County.
It's Nassau Habitat for Humanity. And a lot of people will just say Habitat for Humanity. And there's Habitat International, and we don't, and then there are different affiliates. So, yes, Habitat International is our global international parent organization that started Habitat, that everybody knows about, and they started in Americus, Georgia. Okay, and everybody knows Jimmy Carter was the president that came alongside and made Habitat, gave it the prominence that it gained in the media. But Nassau Habitat for Humanity started in Fernandina Beach, about 1993. There was a gentleman who was really interested. He saw what was going on in Americus. He saw how they were doing it. So he came back to the island, and he saw that there was a need for affordable housing.
Right.
So in 1994, they started their first house. And we've been silently building since 1994, because what happened was it was a group of people that came together. It's mostly volunteer labor, and they were silently building a house, one a year. I came on board about 2 years ago, and the board had changed over several times and decided, well, it's time to become a little more aggressive because affordable housing is becoming a bigger need. So they set a goal to build 4 homes by 2024, 5 for 2025, and 6 by 2026.
Whoa!
Yes, yeah.
So increasing with the years.
Yes. So it was a pretty aggressive type of strategy, but it paid off. We are still a faith-based, Christ-missioned organization, and that's the important part for me. But they've been building. We are currently working on 4 homes right now. I call it on island, off island, which is and our geographical service area is based on 2 zip codes, 32097 and 32034. So that's Fernandina Beach, Amelia Island, and Yulee.
Yes, I know one of those.
And we don't have West Nassau, but we will probably be working with Habijax, which is Habitat for Humanity in Jacksonville.
Right.
They have that GSA, but we're starting to partner with them in some ways because they're moving out of Duval. But anyway, so that's what we're doing right now, and it's actually called the Berkman Build. It's 4 homes on South 11th Street in Fernandina Beach.
Beautiful location.
Yes. And Mrs. Betty Berkman is the donor for that, because her husband, David Berkman, was a major contractor and developer in this area. And since his passing, she's done a lot of philanthropic work, and we've been one of her benefactors. So we're very fortunate that she's provided the funds for us to do the 4 homes.
That's so fantastic. So does that include, you said the funds, does that include the land, or does that also include the building supplies? I had seen on your guys' website that there were some questions about that.
Yeah, well, everything is donors, sponsorships, fundraising activities. We're a true charitable organization. It does include the land. Unfortunately, we purchased the land years ago. And that is probably the biggest cost for us right now is land. Especially in the area.
Especially right now in the area.
Yes. So we were fortunate that we have several lots that we can still build on, and we call them fill lots because they've already got their electric services there, the utilities, they're part of the city. And so we purchased those years ago, and then she came along with the funding for the construction of these homes. Now, we did a build that we finished last year, which was called 6 on Elm Street, which were 6 homes and duplexes.
Oh, wow.
And that was founded by Mrs. Dolores Weaver Foundation. She helped fund that project.
Now, does that mean that you said duplexes, does that mean that 12 families then were able to, or is it 6?
Six family units.
Okay,
and it's all homeownership. We do not do rentals.
Yes.
So that is probably one of the biggest things about Habitat people don't understand. We promote homeownership. And the reason we promote homeownership is we want to create generational wealth for our families.
Absolutely.
Because these are families that don't have the 401ks, that don't understand the savings, that don't have the means to provide for themselves long term. So now we're giving them an investment that fortunately they could stay in for as long as they want, or they can give it to their children.
And build equity.
And build equity. And what even makes me happier is when I see families that come in and then they've been there for, let's say, 10 years, and then they say, we're going to move to a bigger house, or we've decided to move out.
Okay, so that was my question.
Okay.
Is once they, okay, so they help in the process of building their home, correct?
There is sweat equity.
Okay.
Everybody has to contribute, and different affiliates have different ways to structure their sweat equity. We've been doing 300 hours of sweat equity, which was good when we were building one home a year because those people could come, and it's Wednesdays and Saturdays. They can come all day on Saturdays. But now we're finding with single mothers don't have the opportunity to come as much, and they don't have anybody for childcare.
Yeah.
We're finding other ways for them to get sweat equity, and we're looking at that requirement. But yes, and I think the best part is when they do come and help build. We have one homeowner, her name is Isa, and I can talk about her because she has been like a national campaign for us.
Wow.
And she came and she learned how to do her cabinets. She put up her ceiling fans. She painted everything and got all her sweat equity, and she got friends and family to come. And then she also went and helped other homeowners to complete their sweat equity.
How cool is that?
It is so cool.
Well, and so in addition to not only helping your own home, they're also like learning these valuable skills for the future.
Right. So if something goes wrong, you don't have to pick up the phone and call a plumber or electrician. If it's something minor, you can probably figure it out, yourselves. And a lot of times they'll call us back and say, can you help with this? And we'll say yes. But once they take ownership of the home, they sign the papers, the mortgage, et cetera, it is their home.
Wow.
We don't reinvest any more money, and we try to give them financial education. So they have to understand that not only with a mortgage is there escrow, you have principal and interest.
Mm-hmm.
So these are taxpayers in your community. They're sending their kids to local schools, and they are working members. We call it affordable workforce housing. It's not low-income housing.
It's different.
It's a very big difference.
Yeah.
And affordable workforce housing also meets different average median income ranges than low income. And the whole purpose is for these people, we call it a hand up and not a handout.
I love it. Teach a man to fish.
Right. and it's successful. It's been successful. And that's why I think Habitat for Humanity is probably one of the, I'd like to say it's one of the best known organizations, but a lot of people say, I don't know about Habitat, or they've heard about Habitat, but I think it's one of the most reputable ones, and they've done things because they continue to have the same mission. Our mission is the same, shared with all our affiliates across the country and globally, and that they provide financial education, maintenance education. So when a homeowner takes possession of their home, they get a walk through the home. Here's your breaker box. Here's this. This is how you change air. Your filters.
That's so important.
Yeah,
not enough people know.
Little things like that. You'd be surprised how much they learn, and then they take true ownership of their home, and they take pride in their home.
Right.
And we do require them to keep their landscape up. And that's all part of a contract. And the contract is when they sign the mortgage and they come on board, there's a partnership agreement, and we let them know that this is what's expected of you. We base the mortgage based on what they can afford to pay.
I was curious about that. Okay.
But it's never more than 30% of their total income.
Right.
That's what makes it affordable.
Wow.
Okay, because I know a lot of people today are paying 40 to 60% of their income just for living expenses.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's very...
At least.
So that's how it's based. And then we also look at their criteria, which is they need a safe, secure home.
Right.
It's not just because I'm living in a one-bedroom apartment and I want a big house, I want to go to Habitat. That doesn't work. You really need to have safe, secure housing. And then we also look at their financial resources, and we make sure they can afford the mortgage, because the last thing we want to do is put someone in a home and base their mortgage on what they can afford to pay, and they don't have the income to pay it.
Right.
And that's different for different people. And it's changing rapidly, and it's changed since I've been on board the past 3 years. And how we value the homes have changed. So they also have to, in Nassau County, they have to have lived or worked for the previous 12 months in Nassau County, and they have to have a stable income of 2 years.
Right.
And that's preparing them.
So similar to actual home.
It's just as if you were going to a bank, yes. And right now, we offer 0% interest loans.
Are you kidding me?
No, but they're 20 to 30-year mortgages based on
That's still a blessing.
It
oh, my
is very
goodness.
blessing. And a lot of affiliates can't afford to do that, and it's something we're going to have to look at because of sustainability.
Yeah.
It's just the real world. But there's still lower interest rates, and you can get lower interest rates through bank partners and things like that.
Wow.
And there's down payment assistance that we work through with our state. The state of Florida provides a lot of opportunities for affordable housing, down payment assistance. we look at all of that, and then we set their mortgage, et cetera. And then there is a partnership for the length of the mortgage.
Okay.
So for the first 5 years, let's say in fourth year, I say, I don't like this, I want to move out. Okay, well, first of all, we get right of first refusal. They can't put it on the open market.
Okay.
Because we don't want people to come in and think that they can just flip the home. Okay, I got a Habitat home, and I know I can get twice as much or whatever, I want the money.
Exactly.
So we get the right of first refusal based on what we sold it to them. So let's say their home sold for $250,000. We come in, we pay them, but they have to pay off the mortgage. So if they have the mortgage, they may not get any equity. And usually you're not, accumulating equity in the first 5 years.
Yeah.
Then after that, it's a shared appreciation. So the longer they're in the home, the more appreciation they get towards the home. And after the length of the mortgage, they paid the mortgage, every note, then they want to sell the home, then they reap the rewards of taking care of the home, going through the mortgage, paying for the mortgage, and then they can sell the home on the open market if they wish.
That's so amazing. And I think what's incredible too is that you guys tailor the mortgage to them, because I was thinking about my husband and my personal finances, and after all of our bills and our mortgage and our son's daycare every week, sometimes we'll have like $300 in the bank. I mean, more in savings, obviously, but like, I love that you guys tailor it.
We also look at their debt to income.
Yeah.
And they have to have a certain credit score as well.
Okay, that's important.
620 credit score.
That's totally doable.
And we've had, I'll give you for instance, because we've had, and this is kind of fun. This makes my heart feel so good. Over the past year, we've had 2 families come in and apply come in time and time again. Can I take application? The first time they applied, they didn't meet the criteria.
Okay.
They came back in. Then we got we have a mortgage loan officer on our board. We got him to work with them and say, this is what you need to do to get your finances ordered.
Almost like a coach.
Right. And come back and reapply. And one of the families was able to do that, and now they are going to be one of our new homeowners.
Wow.
Another family, we did, and we don't do this anymore, but it was a home site. We used to go and visit where they're living to make sure that, they needed a safe, secure home. And really get to know them. We found that might be a little too subjective, and your emotions can play into that. But we did have one family. It was a mother and her adult son. And we went in and did a home site. And we said, well, you know what? You need to clean up how you're living. You need to take care of where you are. Because if this is how you're going to take care of a Habitat home, we don't know if you're going to make a good Habitat homeowner.
Right.
Let us offer you some suggestions. This is what you need to do. You need to show us that you're going to take care, because it's still our investment until they totally own it. It's still our investment. So we want to make sure that you know how to take care of your home, what you need to do. And she did it, and she came back time and time again, and now she's going to probably be closing on a home within the next month.
Wow.
She is so excited, and she's been there, and her son has been there to work and get their sweat equity in. And that to me is like one of those joyful stories that she's ecstatic. And the home that she's getting is one of the homes that's been repurchased. So that means the family that was in there before her said, we want to move out. We're moving to a bigger home. Thank you for we've been here for 10 years. We're able to afford a new home. So we were able to purchase the home back at what we sold it to them. We went in.
What a blessing.
And we went in and redid everything. I mean, they've got, new paint. They'll get brand new appliances. All our homeowners get new appliances because they should have the warranties. She'll get a new roof because of insurance reasons.
Oh, yeah.
I know. So it's almost like a new home. She even got to pick the color of the outside of her house. So she's got a nice little blue home.
Wow.
And she's looking forward to closing. And then when we do closing, we do home dedications. So we want...
Wait, really? Kind of like you dedicate a baby in a church?
Yeah, yes. Well,
okay.
but we don't have balloons and say, well, guess what color? And but we like to invite all our local officials, our state officials. We like to invite our fire chief, our police chief, the churches, the community, those that have helped, our volunteers. It makes our volunteers good. Look what we've done. And it makes the homeowner feel like, oh, wow, there's a blessing to have this house. And so,
you're making me want to cry right now, but I'm not going to do that. I won't ruin my makeup.
No, of course not.
So how did you personally get involved with Nassau Habitat? How did that come to be? What led you here? And not here. But you got it.
Yeah, I got it. Because I've always been in the private business. I've been an entrepreneur. I've always owned my own businesses. And
nice.
So that gave me a lot of background in business. Mm-hmm. And I think when you look at a nonprofit, it should be run like a business.
Absolutely.
It needs to be run with the same principles and policies and procedures that a business would run. When I came on board, it was just one of those, there's a posting. needed part-time. It said part-time executive director for Nassau Habitat. And I had just worked with the Jacksonville Historical Society for 6 months as their operations manager. That was the very first time I'd ever been in the nonprofit sector.
Wow.
So I learned a lot about that. A little different kind of mentality, a little different take on things. And then we moved, because we were living in Jax Beach.
Okay.
So we moved up to Nassau County. And I said, I'd like to do something, because I'm not one of those people.
You don't sit still?
I don't sit still.
Okay.
So I saw this, and I went in and interviewed, and they offered me the position. Part-time became full-time within probably 2 months, because...
Oh my goodness, because of the amount of work needed?
Yeah, well, I'm also the first full-time executive director we've ever had.
Really?
And we only have 2 part-time staff. So that's...
Wait, is it a staff of 3? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, it's a staff of 3.
With only 1 full-time person?
Yes.
That's crazy.
But fortunately, I have a very good board. We have a very engaged board. At first, they were a little too engaged. It's kind of like, this is why you hired me. Let's kind of find a way to work together. But they are very engaged. We have committees on the, they do a lot of the fundraising, a lot of the guidance, a lot of input. But then they've slowly handed things off, because the whole point for me is I want to be able to walk out the door tomorrow and know that Nassau Habitat for Humanity will continue, and I've set it up so that the next person can walk in and say, okay, this is where we're going, this is what we're going to do. So sustainability is my big concern.
Absolutely.
And we had a lot of housekeeping things to do, and but we've gotten there, and we've got a long way to go, but it's pretty exciting. So that's kind of how my story is, and I always feel that God takes me where He wants me to go.
Absolutely.
And I look back at all the things I've done in my career, and all those things kind of set things up, because I was in real estate.
And led you to here?
Yeah, I was in real estate for a while. I know about construction. I know a little bit of, I always think
a little bit about everything?
Yeah, it's always like I felt like, so I know a little bit about all this stuff. Where is this going to go?
Yeah.
And this is where it led me.
I love that. Now, we talk about a little bit about the faith-based part of Habitat. What does that mean for the people that are applying for these homes? Or I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but I think
not
you
so
know
much.
what I'm saying.
But it doesn't affect them so much as it affects how we are. We're there to show God's love.
Right.
Okay, we are bound by certain federal guidelines, because we have to abide by HUD guidelines. We have to be an equal opportunity housing lender. So there's no discrimination based on all the federal guidelines. We can't go out and talk about our mission, but everybody knows that we're a faith-based, Christ-based centered mission. But that's for us to go out and show God's love.
Right.
What we do and where we go. Because we have people from all walks of life, from all different backgrounds and faiths.
Oh, yeah.
So that to me it helps to guide the affiliate, and not so much those coming in. But then they see how we are. And that to me is a way for us to show who we are.
I love that. I think that's fantastic. Now, where do you guys find your volunteers, or do they see you guys working? How does that come about? I'm curious, because I don't even know how I volunteered at Habijax, about 10 years ago when I was in college, and I don't even remember how I did it. I think it was something through my church, maybe.
Probably a lot of it's church. A lot of churches do come alongside of Habitat.
Okay.
We've had, I think there's a lot of retirees in that particular area, and so I think a lot of the core volunteers were retired men and women. Would came together and say, "Oh, look, there's something we can do. I like to hammer. I like to do this. I know
I'm good at this.
I'm good at this." And it's Wednesdays and Saturdays. I can go and get out of the house and do things and make a big difference.
Right.
And so there was a group of core volunteers for many years. Unfortunately, a lot of them are starting to age out, so we're looking for new volunteers. But there's still a lot of the same people, and they become team leaders and help bring in other people and other volunteers. It's almost like we're marketing for volunteers. We have a website. We go at the farmers markets. We have our tables there.
Okay.
Hi, what is Habitat about? This is what we are. This is who we are. Do you like to hammer? Do you like to paint? Come out.
Do you like to feel good about helping other people?
Yes. Come out and meet our homeowners. So that's where we get a lot of those, through our fundraising activities, through our presence just out in the community.
Yeah.
I do these types of activities. I'm talking to groups all the times, like Rotaries, Knights of Columbus, women's groups, you name it. We're out there letting people know that we need their support through donors, sponsorship, land acquisition, or just come out and volunteer. And then we have non-construction volunteer opportunities.
I saw that. Tell me more about that. I'm curious.
Well, we have one of our biggest events is called the She Nailed event.
I saw that.
That's an all-women's hammering relay race. So it's a lot of fun. So this would be an opportunity for someone who doesn't want to hammer or paint, or doesn't want to come out on a Saturday morning, but it's all day, it's Sunday afternoon.
Okay.
And they're teams of 4 women. and they compete, and it's actually literally nailing, hammering. Here's the hammer, nailing, and it's timed, and then you hit the bell, and so it's hilarious and it's fun.
Yeah.
So we get teams of 4. So if somebody wanted to volunteer for a non-construction activity, come out and be with us that day. Help us. We need people selling raffle tickets. We need people helping with the timing. We need people making sure the teams are checked in. So there's a lot going on. It's a big day for us,
and it's a good fundraising day.
Yes, it is, and we get. The first year we did it, we had 30 teams. Last year we had about 50 teams.
Whoa!
Almost about 30. No, I'm sorry, 30 and 30, and we're hoping to have 50 teams this year. So we want it to grow, and we got the idea from another affiliate out in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And she came down and worked with our committee chair on She Nailed It, and then it's something that's just taken off. But there's a lot of ways to help, and we get items for silent auctions and things like that. So there's a lot of that kind of grassroots stuff that goes on. The farmers markets, we do volunteer breakfast. We kick off in September our volunteer breakfast, which brings in everybody that says they want to volunteer. The corporate teams that have shown interest, we bring them in, and then we say, here's the plans. Here's what we're going to build this year. Look at this. This is the design of the house. This is what we're going to do. And then I think a lot of them get, oh, wow, this is exciting. We're going to do the framing. We're going to do almost grounds up, build the house. So we do that every year as well. And then we have a volunteer dinner, thanking the volunteers for the year that they've worked. And so that's some of the non-construction activities.
Absolutely. Okay, I saw also, is there a hospitality aspect of it? I thought I saw something about people coming to those Wednesdays or Saturdays.
Yes, come and
basically being
coffee. Yes, bring us coffee and donuts, please, because everybody loves coffee and donuts, and everybody
just like church.
Yes, we've had groups do that. We've had Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts will come and bring, and then the homeowners. They have young children. You're not allowed on a construction site unless you're 18 years and older.
Right.
But young children can bring, I made cookies last night, and bring the cookies, and so then they get sweat equity hours towards that. So
how
it gets
sweet
the kids,
is that?
And then we do parades. We're always in the shrimp parade. Mm-hmm. We're in the Christmas parade, and everybody likes the parade. So if they're 12 years or older, and the parents sign off on it, they can walk with us in the parade.
How cool!
So those kinds of fun things. So that's, to us, is hospitality.
Yeah.
It's just providing a sense of belonging and welcoming people at the job sites. Then we go out and we do solicit corporate volunteers, and then fortunately, corporations are always looking for team building exercises.
I was just going to ask about that.
Yes. So come and come and work with us. So we've got 4 teams, 4 corporate teams already showed interest.
Wow.
So that's exciting, because then we'll have a day just for them. And they come, and we ask for a donation, because we're helping you provide your team building, but we appreciate what you're going to do for us, and we'll get them coffee and donuts, and then we get out there and we'll be out there with them and show them the ropes, and they can build for the day, and it's their day. We'll take their pictures, we'll post them. We always are very grateful to everything that our volunteers do.
Yeah.
So I'm always posting you on Facebook. We'll give you a shout out on our webpage. All those types of things, because we're very pleased that you're working with us.
Absolutely. Now, the She Nailed It event.
Yes. Oh, let's go back.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna circle back to that. But if somebody wants to participate in that, how do they sign up? How do they donate? The whole shebang.
Okay, well, if you go to our website, it's www.nassauhabitatfl.com. All the information's on there, and there's a sign-up page under events, She Nailed It. You can go on the webpage to the She Nailed It event, and it shows you how to sign up for teams, and it shows you what you can do, and donors and sponsorships. And I always say, if you have a question, call us, email me, email us, info@nassauhabitatfl.com. We answer those. I look at them several times a day. Just one of the many hats I wear. So I respond. But yes. And then our committee chairperson will reach out.
Okay.
Or somebody from the She Nailed It team will reach out and say, okay, this is what you need to do. We can send you more information. We have little brochures or postcards. And that's how you can get involved.
Now, are there other events other than the She Nailed It event, or is that just the one that's coming up?
That's the big one that's coming up.
Okay.
And then we do the golf tournament in April, because everybody loves a good golf tournament.
Of course.
Everybody loves a good golf tournament. So those are the 2 that we do as far as our major fundraisers.
Yeah. So I know you talked a little bit about how you select the families. I'm curious. So there's credit score. You go and to the homes, correct? And make sure and evaluate those, make sure they're safe
did,
living
and
spaces.
I found that we need to, and a lot of affiliates have moved away for that, especially because they're building so many homes, they don't have time to go and check out 20 of their homes. And I think that you get a little more subjective. Your heartstrings may be pulled a little more, and we're trying to be very objective and look at the criteria that you've given us. We look at, your financial report, look at your credit report. We do have to do a background check on you.
Makes sense.
And all those things. And then we like to make the determination and to make sure that there are families. And so that way I think it's the fairest, most equitable way.
I think so too. And it's really hard to be objective.
Oh, it's very hard to be objective.
And there's so many families in need, especially now.
Well, I get so many calls, and I can tell when I'm speaking with them that they're not going to qualify. Because they tell me their situation, and I know that either they're getting a lot of subsidies and things like that, or they're not working long enough. But I always tell everybody the only way to find out is you go through what's called a pre-screen application, and that's just the first step, and that gives us some basic information. We can do a quick determination before I start running all these reports to whether or not you qualify.
Right.
And then if we feel that you're close, that's when our mortgage loan officer will get in and say, you know what? This person could get there. If they just do these things in a year, they could come back and be a Habitat homeowner.
Wow.
That's our criteria. Now, every affiliate has their own criteria. So what applies to us may not apply to Duval or to Georgia or to another state.
Right.
But that's how our affiliate has, and that's our procedures and our policies. So it's not the same across the board.
I think that's interesting. Now, I know for 2024, that's done. That's decided. If somebody thinks that they might qualify or they're hoping that they qualify, is it possible for them to reach out for 2025, or do they have to wait? How does that work?
Well, they can come and speak with us.
Okay.
And I can tell them I like to give them, this is what you need to do to qualify. So if you don't think you're there, wait. Because our homes will not be ready until next spring.
Interesting. Okay.
Because it takes us that long to build.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially if we're going to be doing 5 homes, and we're going to be doing another 4 right next to each other, and a 5th will be a single home on a different street, and that's going to be a true volunteer build where they're going to be doing the framing. We're going to tons of volunteer opportunities. Now that we do more homes, we have to do a little more subcontracting to get the homes done quicker. Otherwise, these homes wouldn't be ready for another 10 years.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Volunteer labor. But anyway, so I say, come and talk to us. I'm here to answer questions. I want to help you to be able to qualify for a Habitat home. But you can pre-apply, so you kind of know where you are. But we may have to check your score. We may have to check you again, just like a bank would do. They go back a month or 2 months before to verify your income, because we want to make sure that you're still at the level that you said you were, and that you can still afford it. Because the mortgage may not change, but escrow payments change. And I think that is the biggest thing that our homeowners don't understand, is that interest and the interest. Not the interest, the insurance, because we're not charging interest, so it's 0% interest, but insurance and your property taxes. So we always make sure go file your homestead as soon as you have your home. Go file your homestead.
Yep.
All right. And so your property taxes will not increase as much. And go and check your insurance and make sure you do the things you need to do to take care of your insurance. And of course, insurance is the hot topic in Florida right now.
It sure is.
And they don't understand when they come back to us and say, you told me my payments weren't going to go up. Your mortgage, your note, the note balance is not going to go up.
Yes.
I'm sorry, we have no control over insurance, and we have no control over property taxes. So that's what we tried to get them to understand during financial management.
Yeah.
Is that you do need to set aside money. You need to be prepared for increases. You need to know that this could happen. And you need a new roof. That's on you now. We gave you a house with a new roof and new appliances. So please be prepared and be aware of what could happen as a homeowner. And fortunately, I don't think we've had a problem with anyone. We've had one home that just kind of, and it wasn't the homeowner. I think there was a situation that I think the woman left town, and we had to track her down to get the house back, and we got a deed. But I don't think it was a financial situation. And then those that do come to us and say, you know what, I'm struggling, we try to help them the best we can, or we refer them to resources.
So that communication is paramount.
Oh, definitely. Because the last thing I want is for someone to be a homeowner and then 10 years down the road say, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. I don't know how to prepare.
Right.
You know, it's just like us. I mean, we all get our tax bills. We all get the insurance. We're going, oh, what do I do?
Absolutely.
So we try to prepare them And these are not sophisticated buyers. These are not people who've been out checking lending sources. And
Right.
they've come to us because everybody else has probably said no.
Right.
So the last thing we want to do is to have them
To be another door shut.
Right, door shut. So have them go back into that same situation.
Absolutely.
And we do have families that we have one family, the father's on disability and the daughter's on disability, but that's a guaranteed income. So we know that income's still going to be there, but we still have to advise them, this is what you need. But these are, that's another homeowner, and
Absolutely.
and they qualify all the way around. So I'm excited that they're going to get a home.
I love that. Now, I know you kind of touched on some success stories, but I'd love to hear like a start to finish success story, if you can.
Okay.
Because I think that these families have been so positively influenced. And I know that there's kind of a generalization because obviously everyone's going to be positively influenced if they do qualify and if they do get to own a home because of this. But I'd love to hear just like a start to finish, just like, wow, 180 moment,
Okay, here's the 180 moment.
Okay.
And this is when we were doing the home site visits. There's a young man and his elderly mother was living with him. And they lived in a very rundown trailer. And I don't even know how this trailer park's allowed to exist in the area. And they were at the end of the line in the trailer park. We made a home site visit. The doors don't even close.
Oh.
They couldn't turn the heat on. That was one of the coldest winters we'd ever had because they were afraid of an electrical fire. So they didn't have the proper heating that they need. They didn't have a landlord that was going to be responsive. And they came to us, and he came to us. And with his mother's income, they're both on they were both able to qualify financially. And he had been working with another local nonprofit for food service and for training. So he was working through there to get life skills and to get a long-term job. And we work very closely with a lot of the nonprofits in the area because we have a lot of symbiotic relationships, and we're all there to help each other. We're not competing. We want to do what's best for our community.
You all want to do good.
That's right. So after we viewed and walked through the trailer, I was almost in tears about it. I can't believe that someone's allowed to live like this, and they're paying so much money for this trailer, more than probably a regular apartment.
Yeah.
So
and some of those too, you pay like just to be on the land is like $800 a month, not including like the actual trailer.
And they didn't know the trailer. They were renting the trailer.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. And so we worked with them, and he was able to, and he was so excited. He showed up at all the work. He did all his sweat equity. His mom would show up, and she'd sit there and chat with us, and she could do what she could. And he got through his training and his job and got a full-time job.
Right.
And then we did a home dedication for them, and they were so excited to move in. And the first thing that his mom asked for was curtains on her window. So we had volunteers heard that, so they went and put up some beautiful lace, little white curtains for her so that she could have her own room, nice, clean, fresh room, safe. They didn't have to worry about the heat.
Heat works. The AC works.
Right. They were in one of the duplexes next to, and then all the people that are in that duplex community have all become very good friends. They support each other.
Wow.
And that to me was a 180 story. So I drive by because they're like right around the corner from the house. Our office is in the Peck Center. Okay. Which is a renovated middle school in Fernandina Beach.
Very neat.
It's really cool. And I drive around the neighborhood sometimes, and I just look at the houses, and I look and see the yards, and I see how you can see the little tricycle out in the front yard, or the new plant on the front porch. I have one
them investing in their home.
One homeowner has a little bench out on her front porch, and she's always out there either working or reading. The kids are out there playing.
Wow.
So that's definitely a 180.
Yeah.
And then he shares a wall with another homeowner, and she was a young woman with 2 children. Mm-hmm. She couldn't afford an apartment, so she bought herself a camper, a little camper, and was able to put the camper on her parents' land.
Wow.
She came to us, and she was going through a training for becoming a dental hygienist.
Wow.
And so she qualified. So she got her certification, so she's got a full-time job now, and now she is one of the homeowners, and she's got a home for her kids and a safe place, and then she had a baby.
Oh my goodness.
A new baby, and so her family was growing, and that was another exciting story. So now they're all living and working where they live.
Yeah.
And that to me, I think, is one of the biggest concerns, is that people can't live where they work anymore.
Yeah.
Especially in Nassau County, we've got a lot of people coming in from Georgia and driving in. It concerns me, especially like our essential personnel, our firefighters, our police our teachers,
Absolutely.
our medical staff. A lot of them aren't moving to Nassau County because they can't find affordable places to work.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely true.
Affordable places to live.
We're looking everywhere.
I know. So that's when we talk about affordable workforce housing, and to me, the community should be concerned about that. And and I think that's one the talking points in Nassau County is transportation, the roads, and affordable housing, affordable workforce housing. Now there's low income, which is usually subsidized either by our government or some other low-income housing developers, and then there's affordable workforce housing.
Right.
And I think that we need to do that because these are people whose probably children may stay in the area, and they contribute to the growth and the success of our area. And we all move there because we like the services, we like the health care, we like this. Well, and we like the education. Well, you need people to be able to live where they work.
Right.
And that's, I think, one of the biggest drawbacks about the housing situation right now.
That's so true. I know we're kind of wrapping up here, but Carol, what do you want to leave people with that they should know about Nassau Habitat for Humanity or about just helping their community in general?
Okay. Well, I guess the first thing I want to say is we do not give homes away.
Right.
I've heard conversations and people say, I don't want to support Habitat because they give homes away. No, we don't do that. In fact, it's further than the opposite. And I think that if people would come and just meet the homeowners, because you may not know, like you said, you mentioned you had a friend, and you would probably somebody would know, and if they were working with her or whatever, that she was a Habitat homeowner. But because of that, she doesn't have to worry about where her children are, or she doesn't have to worry about where she goes home to at night. I think if people met the people that were the actual homeowners, I think it would change their hearts and their minds. We do need land. We are currently working on property in Yulee. We'd love to do a Habitat community of more than 20 to 30 homes. And that's happening across the state. And in fact, Florida is probably the #1 Habitat builder in the country.
Wow.
Our affiliates do more homes than the rest of the country, which I think is wonderful. That means we're all working. We all realize there's such a need. That's what I want to let people know. Come by and see. Come up. Just come by and, hey, I just want to check you out. What's going on here?
Yeah.
Come see the homes we're building. Look at the quality of the homes. We get a lot of that. Everybody knows about the NIMBYs, not in my backyard type of thing. But if you come and look at the homes that we're building, and you look at the people that are going into these homes with children, their families, they want to be a part of the community, I think that would change your mind.
I think so too.
I think that there's this preconceived idea about a Habitat homeowners, and I'd like to change that. I'd like to change, and the only way to do that is come to one of our fundraisers. Come to Shenella in October, because a lot of our homeowners will be there, and you'll see how much fun we have and what a good group of people we are. Come by one of our builds. They're posted. If you go to our webpage, you can see where we're building and what we're doing. Come by there. Call us. Ask me questions. Let me come speak to your group if you have a group that'd like to know more about Habitat. But please, we really need the support because we are totally funded by private donations, and that keeps us going.
I think that's fantastic. Carol, can I pray for us?
Oh, I'd love that.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Dear Lord, thank you so much for bringing Carol here today, and thank you for her involvement with Nassau Habitat for Humanity, and thank you for this wonderful organization that's helping people and helping them get homes, and so they can have this generational wealth, and that they can have a home that's safe and good and clean, and that they can really invest into. We love you, Lord. Thank you so much for everything you do, and please continue to bless this organization and these families. In your holy name we pray, amen.
Amen. Thank you so much.
Thank
I hope
you
I didn't
so much.
talk too much, but I'm very passionate about this.
You did great.
I love that. I just love what I do, and I'm very fortunate.
It shows.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.